안녕하세요. Good morning. My name is Julia. I am from Braize, and it's so amazing to be back here on the MGS stage. Now look at all of you this morning. MGS this year is bigger, it's bolder. Roy and team, you got to be so proud of the incredible hard work that has led up to today. And thank you so much for kindly re-inviting me back to be on stage this morning. You know, Roy mentioned about the new normal, and I was thinking very hard, what should I share? What should I cover today? Last year on this same stage, I touched about how acquisition, it has to be seen as part of that continuous growth loop, right? And acquisition has to be, and it can be, connected with retention, engagement, monetization, right? And that really got me thinking because I realized, and you and I will agree, that right now as we stand, we're always reassessing. Right, we're always reevaluating our business plans. We're always iterating our marketing campaigns. We're always looking at our initiatives and so on. So there's always this permanent state of change that you would agree that we're all now very much off. And you know what? That's what I thought I'll share today, about joy. Right? So the purpose of existence is joy. And as Deepak Chopra says, if there is no joy, then what is the point? Now, you're all probably thinking, why in the world is Julia from Braize, a customer engagement platform, talking about joy? Right? You think about that. As a consumer, as you and I, don't we just rather spend time in places that really spark, great imagination, right? There's this whole, drag that has continued to follow us, isn't it? We're a little bit numbed, we're a bit fatigued, talents are, somewhat tired, a bit burnt out. And, this is the last time I promise I'm going to say the word pandemic on the public stage. The last 3 years of pandemic, let's face it, right? Wherever you are, whichever city that you were stuck in, the whole pandemic experience was really the least fun years of our lives. And what a shared collective experience that is. So here's the thing. Consumers, you and I, we are now wanting to be inspired again. We want to actively seek out experiences, right, that reminds us of that joy or that need to be connected with each other. Right, and here is a very insightful research. Right, it was launched this year. It's by Winneman Thompson's Global Intelligence Unit, and they really talk about there is this now widespread yearning, a desire, right, for re-enchantment. Right, this survey polled over 3,000 consumers around the world, including right here in Asia itself. 70%, a big majority said, I can't remember the last time a brand did something to really excite me. If I get your eyes to go just to the bottom row here, you would notice that a lot of them felt that I want to be in this world. I want to live in a world where brands think that giving customers goosebumps, the great sense, is important. Large majority of Gen Z agrees with that. Not too far down the chart, Gen X, where I'm part of, still a majority agree on that, and they want that, right? And it also calls out how, consumers, they really want brands to wow them again, right? Wow us again. And 68%, back to they want to spark their imagination. 70% all say they want to feel that, that they are part of something much bigger, right? When I look at a, different perspective, right? Look at this. Brand switching continues, right? This is taken from a McKinsey research and report. It shows you the stack rank of countries here in Asia where these are consumers where they kind of went, I kind of switched brands, right? In the last 3 months, I went to different stores in the last 3 months. Korea does rank up pretty high up there, right? And the thing is, whether you are a marketeer today, head of growth, CRM, or a CTO, or a business owner sitting here in the audience, you have to weigh the decisions back to the great reassessment, right? You're looking at cost versus investment, which is the right choice. And we all agree that you have to go with what is your consumer trying to tell you? If you look at the other end of the graph here, you realize that one of the main reasons why brand switching continues so strongly right here in Korea, right? It's value, but what you see coming up a lot, it's purpose. Is there novelty, so a sense of something different, right? That experience, quality. So the consumers today, they always have the choice. They always had it. Pricing, yes, it used to determine decisions by consumers, but consumers have gotten a whole lot more discerning over the years. So when you kind of look at this perspective from a value perspective, linking back to the earlier report, which is about a consumer really wants to be re-enchanted again. This is how, we got to start thinking, how do we, ensure that our brand remains so relevant to the consumer of today, right? So this is the question that I get asked a lot. Okay, Brace, you work with thousands of brands around the world and right here in Asia. What have you seen? What have you heard that makes sense? And I think we and I personally, we really, really stand by this, which is with technology, data can inspire the creative, and data can become that creative, right? Technology is always meant to be disruptive. Agree? Right? Harness it, use it. Cloud computing, blockchain, AdTech, MarTech, and AI, which is now so openly talked about so regularly, right? And when we look at this, and that's very evident in the world of retail and fashion, for example. I don't know whether any of you have seen the work of this artist here. So you kind of see this very cool impression of Nike stores. So that's called the impossible stores. You kind of have Nike on the planet Mars, or you have Nike on Mount Everest. Pretty cool. It's by this artist called Benjamin Banjo. And by the way, this work is completely not created. It's not sanctioned by Nike. Right? You look at the other image there that you see, this shows how, this was in UK, and this shows how an AI designer actually generates new outfits in 10 seconds for a fashion show, which is incredible. So we now see technology really fueling the creator economy, my personal point of view, even way past what blockchain has done before, right? So here's the thing, right? I would really want to kind of just touch a little bit, right, on what excites me, and if you allow me to, pick on, one major significant, innovation, flying to planet Mars or generative AI. Well, I'm going to pick generative AI, right? So brands, you in the audience, you really want to harness, the inspiring potential of generative AI. I just want to touch on the Braze perspective here, right? So from a Braze perspective, our entire R&D for years, we've always been finding ways to infuse AI into our actual product delivery, into our roadmap. So we've kind of been doing AI, all the time, right? It's all about driving more value to Braze users, and I know there's some in the room today, and we continue to bring AI capabilities to the Braze platform. It's all about optimizing and helping you to automate your consumer engagement strategies faster and better, right? So we were early to incorporate generative AI into the Braze platform. We first introduced the AI copywriting assistant early last year. This is well before AI was, mentioned 10 times in any conversation. And then we were early to integrate generative AI for images, right, into our whole message composition experience as well. And we also launched a dashboard integration with DALL-E late last year. So it continues. And for those of you who are, I hope, Braze fans in the audience, stand by for more announcements around, AI recommendations that's coming up. Again, this is all about not just embracing AI for the sake of it, but it's what is that value and what is the experience of enchantment that we want to drive again with our users, right? Now, in this perspective here, I will not go into a lot of details about Sage AI by Braze because I have my team that will go into more details for later today. Right? For those of you who are familiar with Braze, right, this is the Braze vertically integrated stack. We drive orchestrated experiences beautifully. We manage data through ingestion, classification, orchestration, personalization, all the way down to the action layer. And here's the thing. One of our driving principles for Braze's R&D is that we actually do care about productivity, quality of life, whether you're a marketer or a CRM person that's touching Braze, right? So whether it is classification, or whether it is content creation, it's all about how do we enhance your productivity throughout your entire workflow, right? And when we think about classification layers, just to pick on that for example, right, our whole predictive audience segments really allows you, to actively and to better classify and target your audience. And when you jump down to the personalization or the action layer, this is where we're seeing a lot of that, those generative features really, really starting to shine. Right, but here's the thing, right? It is our mission, just like any other company that believes in modern technology, to stay ahead of technology, to embrace it. And I thought I'll leave, a perspective here on stage, which is whatever the new technologies that comes our way, we believe that we have to remain grounded in 4 beliefs. 1, right? Tech and creativity can and should be friends, and I'll share a story on that a little bit later, right? Long-term branding and short-term sales are not necessarily competitive. They are not mutually exclusive. Yes, one is inspiring branding, vision setting, and one is more technical but important, revenue, uplift goals and all that. They don't have to compete if you allow technology and creativity to come together in your respective organizations. Data teams and creative teams should not be siloed. I do see improvements in the Asia region where marketing, they kind of work closer with their data counterparts, but I still observe that coming together, that collaboration can be even better for the rest of this year. Right? So here's the thing. Data really, really can move product. All of you are experts in that. You know how to do this. Push the product through the funnel, the experience, buy, doesn't buy. You're all experts in that. But here's the thing. When data can inspire creativity, it can change behavior, right? And it can move people. At Braze, at the start of every year, we refresh an intensive worldwide consumer engagement report, which is called the Consumer Engagement Report by Braze, and we refreshed it, just this year as well. We learned that for the next 12 to 18 months, the most critical elements for digital transformation is really consumer experience. How you, as a company, as a brand, continue to draw insights from both big data and small data, and how you can find new routes for products or experiences, new routes to market as well, right? And here's an example, right? This is a story that I still personally love a lot, because this is a brand that has shown us time and time and time that it can be done, and it can be done in weeks, not months, not quarters, right? So this is the most famous campaign, the Whopper Detour campaign. They won all the Titanium Grand Prix award in Cannes that you can think about, and everybody thought, such a cool, game kind of a campaign, but it's not. Underneath all that, there was a lot of deliberate planning and thinking to unify modern technology, for example, with in-the-moment engagement platform like Braze, with geofencing as well, and let your marketeers and let your creative teams go wild, go and drive the imagination. So just for a 10-second summary, this is a famous campaign where I call this Burger King's evil genius campaign. You have to walk to a McDonald's, right, to get a promotion push, and I go, yeah, okay. And I have to walk to a McDonald's to get a 1-cent Whopper burger offer. But I have to walk to a McDonald's. So they geofence all the McDonald's outlets that you can think about, and I walk away from McDonald's and I go and buy my Burger King Whopper burger. Right? A lot of stats, a lot of public stats. So if you just Google this, you will find a lot of business uplift. It's not just about how their app went into #1 download. It's not just about that. So I've been saying this is not about just gamification. It's about using data to prime for permission so that Burger King can actually know about the individuals coming through their store. They saw the highest footfall into their physical stores, right? Yes, you see some stats here, surge in 3.2 million, new app users overnight. A lot of permission, 143% responded to, I'm going to turn on my geolocation services for you as well. But this is really where tech and modern technology and creativity really, really come together. And may I say, from a Braze perspective, we also observe how Burger King is here in this market. Fantastic examples of app monetization as well that can be observed right here, right? I'm going to move on from this one. So the key here is, the time, is really now. It's about how we can mirror technology and creativity together, right? And from a Braze experience, right, that's consolidated through all our clients worldwide and here in Asia, we have a lot of ideas on how you can start your creative launch pads. This here that you see are just 4. There are hundreds of examples that we're more than happy to share with our community that's growing. So first, of course, please perfect personalization. I've been in data and analytics for 22 years now. I think I've been talking about please get personalization right for the last 15 years. So guess what? The technology back then couldn't handle it. The technology now can handle that. Drive for hyper and very perfect your personalization execution. Multi-channel. To me, what is it about? Doesn't matter whether your brand has one channel right now. Can you add on a second channel, a third channel? Can you do that in days and weeks? Again, the technology exists for that. Community, right? A lot of brands here, you are so on top of how you want to connect with your own community of consumers. We come across, conversations on digital campfires. They are more authentic, they're more personable. How do you appeal to consumers who want to be in your digital or be around your digital campfire? Gamification, I talk about Burger King, it's a great example. It can be done. It's already done. Now, how do you build on top of those, amazing campaigns that you've seen, right? So the next 4 examples, again, it's just 4 for this morning, right? I just thought, just to go through, again, these are things that can be done already, right? So this is a on-demand industry example. This is a great example of data-driven deals. And I love this example because all of you are already collecting first-party data, correct? And all of you are trying to convert that first-party data into first-party relationships because it's more human, it's more meaningful. And it can be done, and you can combine that with a very clever, right, personalized offer. And you can tie it back to an important local event or a local cultural event as well. In this case, everybody here knows Valentine's Day, right? Valentine's Day has different meaning for different people, right? So in this case, hey, you 1,245 people who bought ice cream on Valentine's Day, we wish you well, and we give you 15% off your next purchase because ice cream always heals all wounds, which you'd agree, right? That's a great example. I know this title says gamer glam, but this is actually a retail example, right? It talks about how you can drive in-moment engagement, right? Borrowing the inspiration from the Burger King award-winning case study, right? Imagine if you can geofence, let's say, gamer conventions or gamer tournaments, right? And I saw this stat, which is interesting. It says for US at least, like women account for more than 41% of gamers. I believe in Korea, it's a lot more than that. Is that correct? I see some, yeah, I think there are more women gamers here. So there's, they spend too much time gaming, they have dark eye cycles, bad skin and all that. So you can use very clever in-the-moment engagement to really say, hey, let's have a campaign that's about reskinning your skin. Back to what I touched on, you can hyper-personalize. Here's a third example. Now, this is gaming, right? You can have a, let's go a play-on, play-on motivation here, right? So every gamer, and I know there's many here in the audience, all of you have different drivers and different motivations. Some of you play a game and you're a gamer because you like to hang around with your friends, correct? Some of you are like, oh my God, I'm going to beat every single challenge that comes my way. So each one has your own reason why you are into gaming. And it's very, very individual. That's the key word here. So with Braze, you can just launch out of the box this thing called the in-app survey. So you see that small screen there. Very quick in-app survey, just ask, what is important to you? How many times have you had a brand that asks you, what is important to you? I am trying to listen. Once they respond, Braze will orchestrate immediately that experience that particular one individual should go down. I say individual. We're not talking about aggregates of people or segments of people. It's down to the individual. So are you exploring the Maps universe? Are you playing with friends? And so on. Right? The final example here is sports. I know it's big in Korea. I understand basketball is big here. Yes? Yeah? So halftime, a lot of things can happen at halftime. Again, a great opportunity for any brands to leverage that halftime, whether you are watching the game in a stadium or at home. There's a lot of gamification, and again, gamification strategy that needs to be supported by data, strategy beneath that, right? So a lot of examples about how to engage, how to make it fun and competitive, unlock prizes or unlock experiences as well. Here's a fun fact, MBA is also one of Brace's customers, so we're very proud in a partnership with them. Right? So I hope by just giving a little bit of examples of what can be done today can inspire you. Because here's the thing. Ultimately, this is, what we believe we do best, right? We help brands deliver the best-in-class customer engagement experiences. From Brace's perspective, we are committed, we are relentlessly focused on the continuous improvement of our products and services to drive that consumer engagement and experience that can, re-spark the imagination, right? And then can make quality of life easier. I've always have a saying to my teams in Asia, if we make a marketer smile at 5 p.m., job done, very happy. So essential core principle of our product vision is that we help our customers reach their users on their channels that they care about the most. It's always about the consumer, right? And customer behavior will always continue to shift, it will always change, and we will continue to expand the breadth of Braze's vertically integrated stack. Audience sync integration out of the box. Google, Facebook, TikTok, you name that. It's on us to stay ahead of the trends, to stay ahead of technology, so that you, as a marketer, a CRM, or tech and engineer person in the room today, you don't have to worry about that. We've done it for you. So start anywhere, grow everywhere. It's what I truly believe in. Doesn't matter where you are in your customer engagement journey today. Just start, right, with a priority channel or an important use case, but just start, right? And, when I kind of combine, what I talked about earlier, which is consumers want to be re-inspired again, they want to be re-enchanted. I talked about how, technology can really inspire, creativity and vice versa, right? And data can inspire the creative as well. From a business perspective, ultimately, these are the three core pillars that businesses want to focus on to increase customer value, to improve your operations, to future-proof your business. So when you look at your own company's marketing investments or consumer experience investments, to be more accurate, right? It's about how such investments have to be seen, have to be positioned as part of your core investment infrastructure. It's not just marketing equals spend, right? You have to position, if your business goals are well articulated to the CFO, for example, it can be seen as your investment infrastructure for you to stay relevant, competitive. Doesn't matter whether you are a digital native or you're a heritage brand in Korea, right? The middle pillar, if I share my observations, the middle pillar is where I'm involved in a lot of dialogue with a lot of brands in Asia, with both CMOs and CDOs. It's the middle pillar. We really want to reduce the operational complexity. We want to improve productivity. So, we want to reduce, let's say marketing wants to reduce the reliance on engineering teams, give time back. We want to streamline, automate as best possible the whole campaign creation process, right? From planning all the way to execution. And again, employee wellness is actually coming up as a very strong topic right here in Asia too, right? Optimizing spend, this is so critical. We want to always find ways to improve the campaign profitability, right? By prioritizing your less expensive own channels, right? You want to leverage the power of first-party data I talk about so that you can improve your ad targeting or your retargeting. Time and time, I still see brands today who still push a message or still push an offer and experience when that targeted person has already taken an action. So think about if you can suppress an action or a message in the moment, you can really reduce your wasted paid media spend. So acquisition, back to that, it's part of a continuous growth loop, isn't it? Back to activation, back to retention, engagement, and monetization, right? So future-proofing is so key. It's about really building up resilience, building up agility. For me, it's if within your own company, you recognize that data latency somehow still exists within your company, you gotta keep working at that, right? Gotta keep removing data latency for you to future-proof your business. Now, ultimately, it's all about, how do we build and how do we connect, right? Very, very strong, human connections, right? And how do you hyper-personalize? How do you capture in the moment, that experience, that emotion that is so relevant for that one individual consumer that you're going after? If I am not wrong, there's a concept in Korea, I hope I pronounce it right, Hung. It's something about collective energy, right? About how people come together here, where there's a lot of expressions of utmost joy. That's that experience that people now want, based on all the research that has been released this year. How do you capture that? How do you leverage that, right? And modern technology is really here to keep pace with your growth and your ambitions, but you have to remove the data latency that still exists within your own organization. Ultimately, as brands, whether we're marketeers or whether we're tech, we're all about coming together to create the most memorable experience between consumers and the brands they love. For me, my own personal example of utmost joy is this little girl here. That's my daughter, Olivia. She's 9 years old. She is the first Braze kid in Braze Asia, because I was the first Braze parent they brought on board here. And she's kind of grown up with the Braze family over the last couple of years. But isn't this pure joy? When you see a child just reacting with technology, she's crazy about Avatar, by the way. She saw part 1, part 2 like 3 times. I have no idea how a kid sits through such a long movie, but that is my joy. That is my emotion. That is my personal connection. You as a brand, how do you know how to connect with me at an individual level, right? So, I want to encourage everybody to remember this, that data becomes the creative, right? You have to equip marketing and marketeers with the right data. You don't need all the data to engage with an individual, but the right one. You have to find a way to empower a marketer or a CRM person to just try a new use case, a new channel, experiment to decide whether does it work or doesn't work, right? And this is where that strategy, I keep coming back to that, the strategy for actively collecting first-party data and pushing into first-party relationships becomes so critical. And here's the thing, right? The experimentation possibilities are endless, right? You can test, a new offering or a new strategy in 2 weeks. Please don't do that in months. That's too late. In weeks and days, you can test the possibility to go beyond your own channel. If you want to say, hey, I have a new video, I want to test how a consumer will respond to that. Notice I said the word test like 10,000 times on stage, because you have to do that, right, to get down to the individualized experience, right? And here's the thing, right? Customer engagement, it is a team sport. What do I mean by that? Every one of you here have to collaborate with other departments, correct? In your own respective companies, right? Marketing counterparts, data counterparts, product counterparts have to come together to align and collaborate across the organization. And only when that is done, then you can really compound on the benefits of experimentation that is only made possible by modern technology. So I use the word compounding just like compounding interest, right? Because experimentation results compound upon experimentation results. And again, the ideas, the creativity are simply endless. So on that note, I thank you for being so patient and listening to me. I hope I left a moment of inspiration for all of you. Thank you so much for having me on stage today. 감사합니다.